What's up, guys? It feels good to be back after a couple months of a hiatus here as far as putting out videos. To be honest, I've had a lot of things on my plate. My goals have kind of changed a few different times since January, and I honestly just did not feel like trying to compile all of the footage that I had. And so as my camera filled up, I kind of just deleted things and then kept on going about my day. So I'm going to try and get back into a consistent flow of doing these videos. Not because I think anybody actually gives a shit, but more so because I like to have a running log of everything that I do. That way I can look back over it whenever I have questions or I want to look at trends in my training or track injuries or things like that. So kind of bring you back up to speed on what I've been doing for the last couple months. One and most prominently is I'm dropping back down towards a 242 weight class. In this video here, I'm weighing somewhere around 253-ish. At the time that I'm recording this voiceover, I'm now at or under 250. It just kind of depends on the day. So that puts me about 25 pounds down from where I started the year at, and where I've hung in around 275 for the last year or so. With deciding to take a little bit of time to drop down my training intensity and just kind of focus on cleaning up the nagging bullshit that I was still dealing with around the beginning of the year. One of the realizations that I had is that over the last, probably call it 2 years, even though I have managed to heal up some issues and I have built up some strength and all of that, the one thing that I have neglected is anything that is remotely athletic. And so I kind of had this come to Jesus moment with myself where I feel like a lot of the just nagging day-to-day things that have been going on are related to just being too heavy, or at the very least not carrying the weight that I was walking around at as well as I could. The extra 30 pounds of body fat I don't need, they're not necessarily helping me all that much in my lifts. And if my goal right now is not to try and push weights that much since I'm not prepping for a meet, then it is in my best interest to start working on some athleticism. So what I've been doing for the last couple months has really been dropping back my overall training intensity. I've been adding a little bit more variation, kind of similar to a conjugate style program, and then also sled work twice a week, and then some steady state cardio here and there as well. So cleaned up my diet pretty significantly. I'm already down 25 pounds. I think what I will most likely do is keep going for sure till 240 because that was my initial goal. I should be there inside of the next few weeks. And after that, I will probably get just a little bit under 240, maybe down to like 235. And then what I'll do is I'll just kind of hang there and I'll keep my body weight between 235 and 240. If I continue to recomp past that point, then great. If not, then by that point I should be a lot leaner than I've been. So just focusing on getting healthy, getting mobile, and just kind of regaining some of the capacity to move and actually train kind of like an athlete instead of like a fat piece of shit that is occasionally strong. And go figure, over the last couple months of doing that, I have had a lot of the issues that I was dealing with go away. So that's one major change and one of the bigger things I've been focusing on. I'm also switching over to a conjugate style of programming. I had the pleasure of going up to a seminar and meeting Matt Wenning a couple weekends back, and I learned a lot as far as how to rotate the different pieces of my training, so that way I am avoiding all of the overuse injuries that I've accumulated over the last couple of years, and actually staying healthy rather than just always kind of trading around something that's nagging and annoying. So just a completely different perspective and way to think about training thanks to Matt. So even just in the last couple weeks since the seminar, the changes that I've made have felt a lot better, and I gotta say I really enjoy training this way. So one of the big things with how Matt sets up a conjugate program, or I guess some of the key differences between that and what I've kind of been doing, is both the squat and the deadlift are hit together on the max effort and dynamic effort days. Not too dissimilar from a traditional Westside setup, although usually with Westside there's just one max lift. But I'll be hitting a heavy squat and deadlift on Monday, and then lighter speed squat and deadlift on Thursday. On the max effort day, I'm going to be staying in briefs just because that keeps my hips healthy. And every 3rd to 5th week, I will take some raw stuff in my competition stances, probably with wraps here and there. But I'll work those things into a max effort variation about once a month or so. The speed work on Thursday, the lighter day, is going to be raw for right now. I'm going to use this day to fine-tune my squat technique, to get back into squatting raw, since even still I've not done a whole lot of that in the last year and a half. Mostly brief work, and while that did work out just fine going into the meet, I do need to start getting some raw work back into rotation. So that will live on the lighter day. The dynamic effort day is going to be anywhere from 30 to 40% in bar weight, and anywhere from 20 to 30% in either band or chain. That way I am changing the pressure gradients and the way the load is dispersed kind of from week to week, and just letting my body recover and adapt to going back to twice a week frequency for squatting and pulling. Being a couple weeks in, that's felt really well, and I've had no issues since then. The other big difference with how Matt sets everything up is he has a very extensive warm-up that happens before any of your barbell work. On the lower body day, it consists of 4 sets of 25 on the belt squat, reverse hyper, and a leg curl. And I got to tell you that the first couple times I did that, it completely smoked me. But now that I've done it a few times, it's not really taking away from any of the training at all. So that's super light. It's all happening at like 135, but I'm 300 reps in before I ever touch a barbell. So as that warm-up continues to build and become more extensive, what that's going to do is it's going to put me in a bit of an energy deficit going into my barbell work, so that way it forces the weights to be a bit lighter. It helps me to build up some work capacity and conditioning. So you can kind of see here I've got a max and dynamic effort split for upper and lower that's gone on kind of in the background of this. As the weeks go on, I'll continue to explain a little bit more about what I'm doing, but the goal for right now is to continue to hunt down the weak points that I've had, mainly being my hips relative to my back strength, and then also getting comfortable with a closer grip on the bench, so that way I become a little bit more lat and tricep dominant, and I get out of my shoulders, which is how I got fucked up in the first place. So that is it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Like I said, as I kind of get back into the swing of doing these regularly, I'll have some more information on what I'm doing, but it feels good to be back, and I hope you enjoyed it. So be sure to check out the gym's website at savagegym.com, and I will talk to you later.